The diagram below shows a road A to B, which is not the scale. And AC is the horizontal and BC is vertical. That means it's a right angled triangle. It means it obeys SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, tan, and it means it also obeys Pythagoras' theorem. So we're allowed to use this. And what the first question is asking us is, find the gradient of A to B. No. And it tells us what it is. It's the length of BC divided by the length of AC. Interesting. The gradient of the road AB is written as a percentage. Okay, have an idea? AB. Now, we don't know what AC is the issue. It's BC divided by AC. I'm going to do Pythagoras' theorem to find out what AC is first. So I'm going to say that x squared plus 9 squared is 70 squared. X squared plus 81 is 4,900. And then somebody would be so kind as to do the 4,900 take away 81. Can you square root that for me? 69.4442. Now here's what I'm going to do next. It wants that written as a percentage. It wants BC divided by AC. That's essentially rise over run. Gradient is another way of saying slope. So what I'm going to say is it's going to be 9 over 69.42 and multiply that by 100 because it wants it as a percentage for some reason. What do you get? Huh? 12.96%. And I'm going to have a quick check at the marking scheme, which is here, right underneath. And our 12.96 rounds off to 13%. That gets us 10 marks. So that's a happy 10 marks for that 13%. That's not bad, is it? Pythagoras' theorem and do exactly what they say. Now, let's have a look at part 2 now. Ready? Part 2. It's 10 out of 50 on the board. 10 more marks in the next couple of questions, and we've passed this question. Okay. Olga wants to measure the vertical height of a hill. The point H, which is the top of the hill, the points R and P, which are 20 meters apart on horizontal ground. What does that mean, horizontal ground? It means that, hey, see, this is my horizontal ground. That's my pole. Anything that has the pole has one of the ends, it's going to be a right angle triangle. So I'm going to show you two right angle triangles right now. Anything that has the pole as a side. See that red triangle? That's right angles. Okay. See this, I wonder do we even need it, but I'll show you now in a second. See this yellow triangle I'm about to draw out? Ever see that one? Guess what that is? Right angled as well. Don't necessarily know if we need that one yet, though, but it's also right angled. What about the base triangle, which I'll color in blue? This base triangle, right angles? No, because it's on the ground. Okay, find OH. Well, lads, I think OH is firmly in the OH is firmly in that red triangle, isn't it? Work out the distance OH. Now, did they give me any other distances here? They only give you 20, do they? Okay, that's unfortunate now. Can anybody explain to me, why can't I use the red triangle to figure out what OH is? I don't have enough information, do I? I don't know a single side on that red triangle. What's the good news? I can use the blue triangle, and if I figure out what OR is, then I'll know one of the red sides, won't I? So let's concentrate all our effort on the blue triangle. Okay, so the blue triangle looks something like this. So we're going to concentrate all the effort on the blue triangle. And here, I'll just redraw it, okay? So that's 88 here, yeah? That's 87 there. By Pythagoras' theorem, add them up, take away from 180. What you get? 5. Okay, quite narrow, so. Okay, Now, which side do I want again? I want OR, which is this one here. That's OP, and I know that's 20, don't I? And I'm looking for this length X, which is OR. Can I use Pythagoras' theorem? Why? SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, tan. No, SOHCAHTOA only works for right angled triangles. My only two options are the sine rule and the cosine rule. I'm going to start off with the sine rule. Sine rule is this. Okay, it's very important you know why you can't use SOHCAHTOA and Pythagoras' theorem. Pick a side, X. Pick the angle that looks at it. What angle looks at X? No hassle. Pick a side we know. Pick the angle that looks at it. Okay, prediction time. X, bigger or smaller than 20? Why is it bigger? 5 degrees looks at 20. 87 degrees is going to look at something a lot bigger. Okay, let's find out. I'm still sine 87. Bring it up to the 20 and keep the sine 5 where it is. If you can, lads, not to just give me some decimals on this as well. 2 decimal places. 22.916. Okay, meters. You cool with that? All good? Now, don't go back up to my blue triangle. And, oh, sorry, my red triangle. My red triangle now has, what did we call that a second ago? 2 to 9 points. What type of triangle is the red one? I can use SOHCAHTOA, or I can use the sine rule. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA. I'm looking for X, haven't I? The height. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say tan. Tan 17 is what? Opposite over adjacent. And then what I'm going to do with that 229.16? I'm going to multiply it by tan 17. And what happens when you put that in the calculator? Huh? 70 point what? So 70 meters. Okay. Olga has tests done to measure her lung capacity. When she's resting, the volume of air V in her lungs after T seconds can be modeled by the following equation. This is sort of cool because the volume of your lungs goes up and down. So I can put this into my table function right away. Everybody, radians on your calculator. Okay, and I can just do table function. I can do 2 minus 0.4 cos pi over 2. Instead of t, we're going to have x, closure bracket. I'll do it for like the first 20 hours maybe. Or is it 20 seconds? 20 seconds, sorry. Now what happens to the capacity of air in the lungs? 1.6 to begin, goes all the way up to 2. That means you're inhaling. Still inhaling. How do I know I'm inhaling? It's going up. Then when do I start to exhale? When it comes, starts to get lower. Now I'm noticing it only goes as low as 1.6 and as high as 2.4. Now that's interesting. So straight away, I know that that's 2.4 and I know that that's. So that's 1.6 and that's 2.4. How do I show workings for that? Huh? Find the values from A and B in the graph. That's not too bad though, is it? The table function would actually get you away with that. I'll show you how to do it now. What's the equation again? 2 minus 0.4 cos pi over 2t. All right. Cos has a minimum and a maximum. Cos has a maximum when t equals 0. So when t equals 0, that's actually not going to be, that's going to be cos 0. And cos 0 is 1. So 2 take away 0.4, 1 point. That gives me my A value. To find my B value, cos will have a maximum when t equals 1 because it's pi over 2 is 90 degrees and cos has a minimum at 90 degrees. Because guess what cos pi over 2 is worth? If I replace t equals 1 in, I get pi over 2. Guess what cos pi over 2 is? Oh, wait. Oh, no, sorry. Give me a second. Shh. The maximum doesn't occur at 1, does it? The maximum occurs at 2. Let me explain. I think, see, that would be 0. But if I use t equals 2, what will happen is it's cos 180 degrees. And cos 180 degrees is actually minus 1. So if I substitute in 2 here instead, and we do pi over 2 times 2 is cos pi. Cos pi is actually cos 180. And cos 180 is actually minus 1. If I'm being honest, lads, I think the table function was enough to get the full marks here. So, the 2.4. Now, if I was to check the marking scheme, I'll let you know now. A and B, one correct, one merit. It doesn't say anything about us writing down the answers. So nothing in the marking scheme anyway. Is that right? Grant. I think the table function was a bit of a gift there. Now, shall we move on? Okay. Now, that was tough. Done. Oh. Do you remember back in the day when we did functions? Yeah? So, I'm showing you an example. Are you all looking? This is a graph of y equals x squared, I don't know, minus 2. You all right with that? What did we say the derivative was again? The first derivative is the what? The slope. So it will be going downwards for a little bit, and then it will be going upwards for a little bit. Is that okay? So if the slope is negative for this graph, if the slope is positive, what does that mean? The volume of air in your lungs is going up, which means you're inhaling. If the slope is negative, what does that mean? I'm exhaling and the volume of my lungs is going down. So therefore, in this question, first derivative is the slope of the graph. If it's positive, Olga is inhaling and taking in oxygen. And if the slope is negative, sorry, I should have said first derivative. Always. First derivative is the slope of the graph. If it's positive, Olga is inhaling and taking in oxygen. If slope is negative, she is exhaling and expelling air and removing air from the lungs. Is that okay with you guys? Okay. Use the formula phi of t to find each of the following. When Olga is resting, give the answer correct to. All right. So here's what it wants. Find the volume of air in Olga's lungs half a second after t equals 0. What's half a second after t equals 0? 0.5. And you know what's great about our table function? What can I do? Just go back and do what? Start at 0, I don't know, end at 10, do a step of 0.5, and what happens? The answer is 1.717 or 1.72. If you put that in your calculator, you'll get 1.72. What? 3 decimal places. So 717. Okay. Is that okay with you guys? Now, That part E went for 5 marks. So part E part 1 went for 5 marks. And I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't get that. No reason why we shouldn't be able to put in the number. Okay. E part 2. Use the formula disk to find each of the following. The volume. Oh, sorry, I already did that. Part 2. What does rate mean? Keyword rate. Slope. Slope means first derivative. So I'm going to have to get this formula and differentiate it. So it's V equals what? 2 minus 0.4 cos pi over 2 t. Okay, let's do an easier one than that. What happens if I said y equals 5 minus 3 cos 5x? How would we have done that? Okay, what happens to 5? Gone. What happens to 2? Gone. Agreed? What does cos change into? Just double check that. Differentiation and not integration. It is minus sign. Good man. The minus 3 goes straight through. The minus 0.4 goes straight through. The angle never changes. So it's minus sine 5x. What's the missing part? Differentiate the angle and get 5. So it's actually, the two minuses make a plus, don't they? So it's going to be 15 sine 5x. Now what about the one underneath? What happens to the angle? Nothing. What happens to the cos? Minus sine. Differentiate the angle. Just another pi over 2. Does it want it in terms of pi, or what does it want from me? Oh, does it give us a time? T equals what? T equals 0.5. So what am I going to do with that t now? Replace that t with 0.5. Put it all into the calculator, gents. Every last bit of that into the calculator. Okay, so it's going to be, oh, I have to be careful about that because I'm multiplying that. So that could do with a bracket as well. So I'm going to get off this. I'm going to do minus 0.4. I'm going to do sine. What's a pi over 2? That pi over 2 is getting multiplied by what? A half, yeah? Now, I have to be very careful. See that pi over 2? It's not multiplying the angle. What is it doing? It's actually multiplying the front. So that pi over 2, I should probably move it beside the 0.4. So I'm going to do 0.4 multiplied by pi over 2. So I have to change that. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Right. So I'm going to put a bracket here and a bracket there. And then I'm going to put the pi over 2 in here. Right. Shift pi over 2. Okay, that's complicated. Is a minus sign, good man. Are we expecting the lungs to be on the way up or the way down? Way up or way down? Half a second then. Way down. Okay. So what do we get? Minus 0.335. Okay, I'm going to check the market scheme for that. No. Something went wrong. All right, let me have a look at this again. So what went wrong? Okay, let's even tidy this up slightly. Everybody see that minus? See that blue minus? That blue minus cancels out the red minus. Why? Minus by minus is it? Plus the sign, cos change the sign, the 0.4 stage is the pi over 2 goes to the front. So right, I'm going to check this out again. I'm going to type it all in again. 0.4 multiplied by pi over 2. Well, I'm struggling with it, so I guess not for me. Multiplied by sine. Oh, what's pi over 2 times a half? Pi over 4, isn't it? I'm going to try pi over 4 this time. close bracket. There we go. 0.44, 0.34, 0.444. And that is worth 10 marks. And that was very difficult. And no bother if you don't get that one out. No hassle whatsoever. It's difficult. Okay. The part 2 and the part 1, however, everybody should get. Okay. Last question on this. F. Olga's breathing is measured when she is doing gentle exercise. During this time, when she breathes in fully, the volume of her air is 3.6 liters. When she breathes out fully, the volume of her lungs is 1.3 liters. She breathes in and out twice as many times per minute as when she's resting. Oof. Okay. This is tough, all right? Now, I think the first difference we're going to know is compared to our old graph. Guess what the difference between this graph and our old graph is going to be? It's going to go as high as 3.6 and as low as 1.3. Now, I want to show you a little trick. Do you remember earlier on they gave us the formula? Do you remember they gave us the formula? And do you remember, do you see the 2 in the middle? See that 2 in the middle? See that 2? Okay. And 0.4 bigger than 2. 2.4. 0.4 smaller than 2. So you could get the middle line by adding the 2 down together and dividing by 2. So add 3.6 and 1.3 together. Add 3.6 and 1.3 together. And what you get? 2 points. So the new middle line is higher than it was previously. Is that okay? Now, next thing. The amplitudes. See the way it goes up 0.4 and down 0.4? Because if I draw x equals 2 would have been dead center. So that's 2 above and 2, sorry, 0.4 above and 0.4 below. So, do you see 3.6? 3.6 is 1.15 times higher, 1.15 higher, isn't it? So that means my amplitude is going to be 1.15. Is that okay? 1.15. Now I have to figure out the angle. Okay? Is she breathing faster or slower? What you say? She's breathing double, twice as fast, is she? So she's going up and down faster, is that right? So what did I say earlier? Cos 2x is twice as fast as cos x. Didn't I say that? So what's twice as fast as pi over 2? Multiply it by 2, and what happens? And here is my formula, guys. That's my formula. So I'm going to grab this formula. Okay, I'm going to grab it all and copy and paste it in. Okay. Okay. So going back to this one. All right. Now, can everybody tell me what are my values of A, B, C, and D here? So what's A? That's the middle between your highest and lowest values, yeah? What's B? Minus 1.15. It's a 1.15 amplitude, but it's going upwards before downwards. Okay. What's my C value? Just pi.